This video is about proper meditation posture and alignment. There's many different poses that you can take to meditate, but what I want to emphasize that you do in all of these poses is have your spine be as straight as possible. So this is one pose that I'm in. This is called just like crisscross applesauce, back to kindergarten. And my knees are on the ground and my feet are just kind of overlapping one another. Sometimes people do crisscross applesauce like this, and then the weight of their legs is pushing down on their feet, and it's comfortable for a little while, but then the weight of their legs cuts off the blood circulation. So I do recommend kind of staggering them instead of stacking them. And we can stagger, and we can switch the stagger, and it's important to do that for your hip health. Now, you might want to sit on a meditation cushion. This is what a meditation cushion looks like. I'm sitting on one right now. And meditation cushions, when you look for one, you want to find something that's firm, that will really support weight, not like a super fluffy down pillow that just like collapses as soon as you bear weight onto it, but something that is just very firm. It can be circular, triangular, it can have this design, it can have another design. The purpose of a meditation cushion is to elevate the hips, because when the hips are elevated, it's easier to drop the knees down to the ground. So you can see here my hips are elevated. Here, now they're on the ground level, which brings my knees up. And we can actually play with this. The more that I elevate my hips, the more my knees are able to relax down to the ground. You can have as many meditation cushions as you want. It really doesn't matter. For some people, sitting like this, crisscross applesauce, will look more like this because the hips are so tight that they literally just are not flexible enough to relax down to the ground. And that's totally fine. If you do have really tight hips, you can take many cushions to either side of your thighs in order to rest your knees on those, rather than to have this holding sensation like you need to support yourself and kind of look like this. So let your thighs relax onto some form of support. It can be cushions, it can be yoga blocks, so that you can have this relaxed, not engaged. Then we'll move up from the hips and legs to the spine. When we sit, you want to tuck your tailbone. This is what a tucked tailbone looks like. You can see my lumbar spine is very elongated. This is what an arched tailbone looks like. Tucked, arched. So we tuck the tailbone, and then moving up in the spine, we pull our thoracic spine to be taller. We drop the shoulders back and down from ears. And then the back of the neck is elongated, which turns the chin down to the chest. So this would be chin up, back of neck arched, but we want to stretch that out, which brings chin to chest. This is another really great meditation shape. In this shape, I'm straddling some form of support. It could be meditation cushions. They even make little benches that are cushioned for this. And all of the weight of my body from below my hips to the top of my head is going down into the cushions through my sit bones. So this takes weight off of my knees and off of my shins and ankles, which is what most people might think that I'm doing in this shape. And it's really just allowing my sit bones to take the weight into the ground. This is a really good option for people who like this option, for people who have tight hips and that crisscross applesauce shape doesn't feel good for, because it allows the hips to be square and closed into the center. And in this shape, I want to also have that tucked tailbone, elongated spine, shoulders back and down, back of head long. If sitting on the ground or getting to the ground is totally just not fun for you, that's fine. You can also lay on your back to meditate. So if you are laying on your back, it can be nice to have your feet flat on the floor and your knees just bonking in to one another. Or if you want to stretch your legs out, it can be really nice to put a pillow or bolster under your knees This helps lengthen the lower back to relieve any tightness that might be there. This is quite comfortable. If you fall asleep during meditation, it likely means that you need more sleep. So go ahead and sleep, and at another time when you're more awake, come back to that meditation and try it again. You can also meditate sitting in a chair. That's totally a thing. It's a good thing. When you sit in a chair, what you want to look for is that your femur bone, your thigh, is parallel to the ground. So this is a really good heighted chair for me because my feet are flat on the ground and my femur bone is parallel to the ground, which means that there's just support coming from the ground for the lower half of my body, no strain, which just allows the upper half of my body to tuck the tailbone, shoulders back and down, spine tall, back of neck long. What you want to be cautious of is reaching too far forward onto the knees, which creates a hunching sensation in the back. So bring the hands as far back as they need to go. They can be in the lap, prayer. This is an example of a chair that is too tall for me. My feet are dangling on the ground, which means that the ground cannot support the lower half of my body, which means that my spine is supporting the lower back of my body. So with my feet dangling, it's just pulling on my lower back, which is not good. So find a shorter chair so that your feet can be flat on the floor, but not so much so that your knees are up high, bent, because that might put strain on your knee, kind of like sitting in an airplane for too long. So play around with this, have fun, try different postures. Tell me how it goes. Tell me which ones work really well for you and which ones are rather challenging for you.